Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Watercolor Instructions with Sunil Kalbandi. So I'm going to do another landscape, a snow scene, maybe this time with a flock of birds in the front, just to mix it up. But when it comes to, this is one of my favorite subjects, snow, because you have to literally paint so little, because most of them is negative painting. When it comes to a vast beach or a sky or something, where there's a horizon, you usually tend to do lower 1/3 as your horizon line. And when it comes to snow, you want to maximize the effect and then give that depth. People poking or going into the field, you do on the other side. This is a Saunders rough, 140 grams. So, and the colors and the materials, this is John Pike. I'll post a couple of pictures in the last so you can know what colors I'm using. And then also other things I'm using is there's 2 bottles of water or cans of water, one cleaner so that I can introduce to the paint itself, and then one slightly dirtier to job. And then also I have 2 different types of sponge. I mean, just one sponge is slightly thicker. So to soak up dirty water, and then while I'm drying, I want something a little more controllable. A roll of tissue is an excellent roll, so I tend to do that, and then after a while I just squash it and then use the other side, and then after that I remove 10-15 layers and then I can still use it. And on my left side I have a clean roll of tissue. I usually have 3 or 4 pieces cut and then ready to usually soak up excess water or clean the brush. Keep it on the left side. And in terms of brush and other things, I usually stick with one fat brush to wet the paper and apply a little bit of color. And because this is a lot of paint, I'm just going to do a little bit of troughs. You'll know in a minute what I'm going to do. And then also to add a little bit of interest, I'm going to add a couple of houses to give a little bit of visual to what's in that direction, in that area. So 1/3 golden ratio. So drawing wise, so probably I'm going to do is over there. I'm doing a little darker than usual just so that you can see. Okay, and then if I'm looking at it, I'm going to do something like that. Traditional house. And then maybe a barn or a outside window, and then maybe I'm going to do a little bit of few poles, fence, and a little more drama in the foreground, a little bit of grass, and maybe this area I'm going to do a flock of birds. Just gives a little more drama to this area. And then there is darker tree line along that path. So drawing wise, there's nothing more complicated, and I will see how I manage to get this thing together. So paint, a little bit of winter is slightly gray. Over here there's too much red. I'm going to just add a little more Payne's gray. I'm just cleaning up the palette. It gives a nice warm gray. I'm going to just check that seems to be all right. So I'm going to just dilute it and then do a gradient drop. I'm going to add a little more color on the top. And clean my brush. I don't want any. I'm just going to dilute it. I'm going to just paint around the house. I'm going to keep the roof white. Accidentally I touched the roof. everything is manageable as long as it is wet. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to add a little more clouds, shadow. Okay, a little more, and then also is the important thing is keeping it at an angle to make sure the gravity works in your favor. Okay, while that one is doing its thing, the beauty of watercolor, I'm going to just come here and then do a little bit very light gray, even though the snow is white. I just add a little bit of color and then keep the background white so that you can see that pops out. So that one is all right. I'm going to just come in. Oh. So very little gray. I'm just leaving a little areas, even though you can barely see. There's a little bit of gray in that area. Okay, so I'm gonna dry that a little bit. It's too wet, but I'm gonna just retain a little bit of moisture. You'll see why. Okay, so it's not super excess. I wanted to spread, but not so much that I can't control. So I'm just adding a little more green, a little darker. I'm gonna just go. You can see there's a fuzzy edge on the top, but not so much. I'm going to introduce a little more Algerian red. Green. And add a little darker tones. So a little dark around the house to make the roof stand out. And I'm going to just continue with adding a little more dark to the foreground. Okay, so that's fine. I'm gonna, at this stage, I'm gonna just add a couple of trees. A little of a little bit of fence going on. Barely touching, but I'm just giving a little more. Okay, that's fine. The house, so this one did turn out straight. I'm going to just cut the corner, make it a little straight. Okay, the house, I'm going to just add a few windows. I'll just draw it so that I know for reference. And a couple more. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that one a little gray. Could be, can be. I need a smaller brush. If I can find one. Thank you. So make it a little darker on the top. Obviously there's a little bit of shadow. And a door. Okay, that's enough. Also what it needs is a set of windows. Just paying attention to the smaller details, some stuff going on in the front, and not to forget the window. Okay. Okay, and the other house, probably I'm going to do a red house, just because I can and I will. So paying a little more attention while it's coming now. And slowly continuing. Add a little more, make it a little red. And make it slightly uneven so that it looks like there's a little bit of snow in the front and a little more shadow in the top. Not to mention there's some stuff going on in the roof. Okay. So I'm just looking for even a slightly smaller brush, and then I'm just adding a little more nice details. Maybe it's like a 4-panel window. Just some extra details. Okay, that's enough. Now the focus is here and the flock of birds, but I'm going to just use a bristle brush, if I can find. Yes, it's a very rough bristle brush, but they make an excellent one should have to make some rough. So I'm fairly keeping it right. Little water. It's too much water. I'm just soaking up the excess. Still a little more water. I'm mixing it up. So a little darker in the foreground. Okay, and little reeds. Okay, so some suggestions that there's a reed and a little bit of water, and I'm going to just make that the foreground a little more convincing that it is a little snow. Okay. I'm deleting it. I'm not deleting, I'm taking out the rough edge. Okay, and I'm going to continue using a soft brush and adding a little more grass. Maybe here, just about it. Yeah. A little just extra drama. Okay, maybe a couple of them sticking out from the foreground. Okay, that's about what I want to do for Okay, so let me dry, and then I'm going to start working on the flock of birds in that area. So I'm going to just use some random Google image to see how the flock of birds are. Okay, before I forget, the other thing I want to do is add a little more smoke to the house. So I'm just taking titanium white, I'm adding, so I'm doing a blood, well, then maybe one more. Okay. So it just gives that smoke coming up. Okay, the birds. So if I check for, I'm just referring to an image over there. I'm just trying to figure out how big the image, the bird should be. So this is a flock of birds. Usually all the flock of birds are about the same size. In that area, I'm going to just do commit to it and then continue with it. So okay, so that's the size I'm going to do. So it might not look much right now. I'm hoping it's going to look all right in a minute. So a few more in this area. Maybe yeah. Yeah, I think that should do. I'm not particularly happy with this one. I'm just gonna redo that. Okay, and that should cover. I'm just gonna add one more at the close range. Okay, so I'm gonna see how I'm gonna approach this. I'm just gonna use a medium brush. Most of the birds are slightly brown, so I'm gonna just give a brown base coat to all the birds. fairly simple. I haven't thought about how I'm gonna color the rest, but I'm hoping I will figure out. Or I might say I should have stopped without adding the birds, but either way I'm committed now. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to just try to switch to a slightly smaller brush and add a little bit of black to the feathers. Maybe a little more dark. Okay, at this stage I'm gonna do a little bit of cheating. It's easy to consistently draw a nice beak with a pen so that everything looks tip top. And I'm going to add a little more feathers while this is a brown 0.7 pen. Makes life a little easy. Also, it gives me option to correct the bird to look like a okay, so that one doesn't look like a bird, but okay. And I've got a little bit of red pen. I'm going to just add a little bit of color. I don't know what bird it is. It's just my bird, so that okay, that looks almost okay. I'm just gonna try to add a little more black just to the edge of the tip. Okay, that's almost done, and the drawing has a little bit of white certain areas. So okay, so that I should call it quits before I add too many details. It needs a little bit of shadow to the house. I'm just adding a little shadow. Okay, I will end that. I hope you enjoyed it. I don't need to draw it. I'm going to just reveal the painting, see how it looks. I always enjoy revealing the painting. Gives a nice frame to it, and then also the colors pop a little more. Let me just check if it's in the frame. There you go. Yeah, the bird's not 100% sure, but I've committed and that's the way it is. If you haven't liked or subscribed, consider subscribing and liking. It helps a lot. And till next time, happy watercoloring and bye.